I'm going to show you 4 moves that you can easily do in the comfort of your own home to help your posture. So the average person actually sits over 10 hours per day. Poor posture isn't just about looking slouched. It can actually lead to neck and back pain, shallow breathing, core weakness, low energy. And I've also had clients tell me that they were a little self-conscious because they felt like they were hunching over a lot. But the good news is that you can improve this. And so the first exercise I would always recommend is a nice doorway stretch. I was actually doing mine in the middle of my squat rack. And that's because a lot of the times if we're hunched over, what happens is the chest muscles, they do get really tight. And so a little bit of a stretch is really good. I do like to use mobility and also dynamic stretches and less of static stretches. I really feel like the mobility part of that and just like dynamic movement, so like constant in and out movement, is really more beneficial than just a standard static stretch. The next one that I like is called prone Y raises. Even if you are a seasoned lifter, try this without, if you've never actually worked on this move before, it does look easy, but I promise you it's a very concentrated move. So don't let your ego get in the way. Just drop the weights and then just do this. Just nail down the form. And I promise you, you're gonna end up feeling it no matter how seasoned you are. All you're gonna do is lie face down, arms in a Y shape, thumbs up, and then just lift the arms slightly off the ground. Also notice that I put a little towel on my forehead because it is very crucial that your neck and that your head is resting. You don't want to actually strain your neck or use your neck muscles for this. You want to have them fully relaxed. So pick something that allows your neck and your spine just to be even there. You don't want it higher and you don't want it lower. You just want something comfortable that you can rest your forehead on. Next one is quadrupled thoracic rotations. So the thoracic spine is basically like your mid back, and that's meant to rotate and extend. So what happens is when it gets like locked up, if you will, then your lower back can overcompensate. And I will tell you that one of the most common complaints that I get from clients is lower back pain. Usually when they're talking about like lower back pain, more so than not, they mean the quadratus lumborum. If you have QL pain, then you most certainly already know. You can definitely feel it. So it's actually a deep muscle. It's really located on the side. You have one on each side, and it's located on basically in between the last rib bone, and then it extends all the way to the top of that hip bone. And it's a very small area, but if you have QL pain, you definitely know. And get this, 90% of spinal rotation should actually come from the thoracic spine, and most people get stuck in forward flexion. So with this exercise, you wanna make sure that your hips are square. So you don't really wanna turn anything other than your torso. And don't like force yourself to get into a movement either. Just go with the actual mobility that you have. You can always improve that upon time. Probably one of the most underrated exercises for spine and for posture, wall angels. And this is actually one of the tests that I like to put my clients through. It looks like it's super simple, but a lot of people actually fail this test. Make sure that you are up against a wall, and the goal here is you want to start out in that goal position, but you want to keep your shoulders, you want to keep your arm, your elbow, your forearm. You want to keep everything, including the palm or the back of your hand. And you want to keep that against the wall the entire time with that full range of motion. This is going to be able to not only train your back to have better posture, but it's also kind of like a little test that you can do to see if you do need to improve some of your posture. And then there are some lifestyle changes that you can make, and they sound so simple, but I think a lot of us get stuck in this hunched over position without even realizing it. And the most common situations would be at a dinner table. I see a lot of people either laid back like this. That's also common like in waiting rooms. Like let's say you gotta go to a doctor or the dentist and you're in a waiting room. A lot of us kind of like just, sit back like that. Or we also would do another really common thing, which is taking our phone and looking at our phone like this with our neck down, right? Instead, what you always want to make sure is no matter what situation that you're in, that you're sitting in. We weren't really meant to be sitting for long periods of time anyway. We were meant to be not sedentary individuals, but very active individuals. Think about like our ancestors, hunter-gatherers, farmers. We were all just like in different positions, right? And so we were constantly moving, not in sedentary positions for long periods of time. Not that there's anything wrong with sitting, doing it for extended periods of time, that's when it actually becomes problematic. So when you're at the dinner table, just simply roll the shoulders back. Just be very aware of how you're sitting. And then with your cell phone, right, instead of actually looking down, bring it eye level. It's gonna seem weird at first, but I promise you, it'll start to become second nature, and it will make you more aware and just naturally just give you better posture. And then don't be afraid to get into other positions, like train your spine to get familiar with other things, like, I would say, like, there's a position in yoga or a movement in yoga called cat-cow. And that basically is just like hunching and also arching. So you want to get into movements of like many different movements for the spine. It's not just about like being stiff and upright the entire time. It's about training your spine to get comfortable with all movements that we were designed to do as a human race.